My predictions heading into this NBA season have not been super accurate so far. I predicted the Heat would still be great and the Jazz and Sixers would fall into mediocrity. While my predictions weren't very accurate, I think it's safe to say most NBA fans have been surprised by at least something this year. So naturally, it's time to test my streak and make some more predictions. So here are my top 5 choices to win the NBA championship this season. Before we get this video started, as always, if you like this video, leave a like if you like this kind of content, consider subscribing, and let's get right into it. Before we get to the top 5 teams, there's a few honorable mentions. First off, the Nuggets. If the Nuggets can make a good trade, I can actually see them being real contenders, but in their current state, they have to rely on Murray going bubble mode again, and it's just not something you should count on. The Bucks are in a similar situation to the Nuggets. Good team, but they seem to have hit their ceiling, and they would need a lot of luck to make it that far. Especially with Giannis not dominating quite as much as the last 2 seasons. And last, the Warriors. Steph Curry is really good, but they're only the 8th seed as of now, and I don't really think they have the depth for a deep playoff run. But they do have a solid team, and I wouldn't be surprised if Curry went off in the playoffs and carried them through multiple rounds. But as far as their championship odds, I just don't see that realistically. Now for the real contenders. At 5th place, we have the LA Clippers. They suffered some big losses this offseason and don't have the raw talent they did last season. But despite what you'll see online, Paul George is having one of his best seasons yet, and Kawhi is Kawhi. Realistically, the duo of PG-13 and Kawhi is enough to really contend, and despite losing some key players, they still have a competent team. And as long as PG does well in the playoffs, which he's actually done more than not, the team is definitely a real contender, but also not my favorite. 4th place, I have the Nets. Call me a hater if you want, but I don't see them as the best championship option. I've said it many times, but not having a guard who plays defense is terrible going into the playoffs. They have the offensive potency and star power to win a championship, but their backcourt defense is lackluster as well as the center position. And considering the other Eastern Conference team I put on this list as an MVP caliber center, DeAndre Jordan is not going to cut it if you want to make it out of the East. But even with all of that against them, KD, Harden, and Kyrie, I think that speaks for itself. Coming in 3rd, we have the Philadelphia 76ers. They've surprised me so much this year. Embiid is my top pick for MVP, and I've already made a video covering that. But the whole team has been amazing. Seth Curry added the shooting that they desperately needed, and along with some other changes from players to coaching staff, having a number 1 seed in the East over the Nets even this far into the season, they're definitely for real. The team is very balanced, and while I think the Nets are better, in a playoff series, Embiid will bully DeAndre Jordan. That's not debatable. So I just think the Sixers are more likely to make it out of the East, and I think they can compete with the Western teams just as well in my opinion. But obviously, the East is not the West, so they're 3rd on this list. 2nd place, you have the Utah Jazz. If the Sixers have been well balanced this year, they're nothing compared to the Jazz. The Jazz have achieved perfect balance as a team and have the best record in the league without any one player having an incredible personal season. I made a video covering their success more in depth, so I'll keep it brief here, and if you want to see that you can. But to summarize, they've had a whole team effort defensively, having the best 3-point shooting season by any team ever. In my video on the Jazz, I saw them at least making the conference finals, but I didn't give them super good odds to actually win a championship, and I think that's still true. While I have them ranked as the 2nd best team, I still think the chances sadly mostly go to one team, and if you're already at this point, you know who that is. My pick for the 2021 championship is the Lakers. I hate to admit it because I never have or never will be a Lakers fan, but healthy AD, LeBron, Schroeder, and Harrell, along with a solid bench, they're just the best team for the playoffs right now. I don't believe Davis is the second best player in the league, especially after how he's been this season even when healthy, and I don't by any means think they have the deepest bench. But to not accept their status as a super team is ignorant. I want more than anything for another team to win, but of all teams, the Lakers have the best odds. But that's my top 5. Do you agree with my list, or am I completely wrong? Let me know in the comments. As always, if you like this video, leave a like. If you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.